Barry, you're recording. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll call the meeting to order. It's 10:11 a.m. and we'll take up the minutes of the last meeting, which were distributed before. Are there any questions or concerns about the minutes of the last meeting?
Nope.
June?
You noticed that I goofed up on Tom's name, Tom Andrew.
Yeah.
So I fixed it in my copy anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a common mistake people make.
Yeah.
So that's the S on the end of Tom Andrews' last name.
Yep.
Is there anything else on the minutes to be taken up? If not, is the motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion made to approve the minutes and second? I'll
Second.
second it.
Okay.
That's fine. And I'll ask you to vote. Barry, aye.
June, I.
Elaine, aye.
Thank you. The next piece on there is the resignation, Karen's resignation. I replied, as I assume you've seen, I'm disappointed, but I understand her situation. And so I put it on here so that we would talk if we had some talk to make. And obviously we've got 2 vacancies and we could use some people to help us. So I would suggest that we all be thinking about who we might get and see if we can't move in the course of this month to find some new names to give to the selectmen. I don't think we have to, and there's no action to take. I forwarded, my first action was to forward the resignation to the town clerk, which is the place that resignations are supposed to go. So
Yeah, I wondered about that. Yeah.
yeah, I sent it. That's the first thing I did was send it to Eloise. So that will, she then notifies the appointing agencies and so forth. That should be, that'll be there. Is there, and there's no acceptance. If somebody resigns, they resign. That's the way that town business works.
Oh, okay.
There's no vote to accept or anything. It's, yeah, they've taken the action, and I think that's a much smarter thing than fighting with somebody as to whether they can resign if they decide to. I think if somebody decides to resign, I think other people should just respect it, and that's that.
I did consider asking her if she wanted to be an alternate in the future, that we could keep her on and just have her as an alternate, because she already knows so much about what we're doing.
That's true, and that would be a good idea when it goes to the select. We could talk to her about that and see whether she might do a little of that.
Yeah, because she's a good person. I mean, I know she's got her hands full, and but as an alternate, that might be acceptable.
Yes, and
once we get a full.
And she also takes a job seriously. If she takes a job, she takes it seriously.
Yes.
And that was very clear through all of this. So I think that's good. At any rate, that's that one. Is there anything else that somebody wants to say about all that? If not,
No, can I talk about the CPAC for a minute?
The what?
Can I talk about the CPA thing for a minute?
If you'd like,
the historical input.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did get, I don't know if you sent Barry a copy of what you did too, June. I wrote a little thing, I sent it to everybody, and June made a few comments, which I incorporated, thank you. And,
I don't think I think I just sent it to you because I wasn't sure I had done the right thing. I mean, I wasn't sure it was in the right format.
I kind of chuckled to myself when I read it. It's like, well, of course. So it's okay. Did you have any comments on it, Barry?
I don't think I've seen it. I don't know why. Wow, I missed it. When did it come?
I don't have that in front of me, but I sent it out about a month ago, I think.
Oh, okay. And that's about CPAC, okay. Hmm.
Right. Oh, okay. I did it on January 5th. I'm sorry. It feels like a month.
Yes, that is the truth these days. Okay, January 5th. I'll look for it by date in my email.
Okay, it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah,
What we've done, we've been working, we want to get it going because we want to get stuff on for the town meeting, et cetera. We
Yeah.
want to get applications up on the website
yeah,
and stuff like that to get it moving. We don't want to
Mhm.
waste any time because we do have stuff available.
yeah, there's money there.
Right. And there is a need. We've identified a number of different things. So
Yep.
okay. And but that's the only thing. If you have any further comments, we're trying to keep it simple
Yeah,
and tried to
I'll
cover all the points.
yeah, I'll look it up and send you a reply on it. I'm sorry. I missed it before.
Actually, June, if you want to forward him what you sent to me,
Oh,
Okay,
okay, because that's what we're going with. I mean, she didn't make many changes, but it just made a little more sense.
Okay.
okay.
It's fine. And of course, projects under this don't have to be public. They can be private projects too, as long as they're
Exactly.
preservation oriented.
Exactly.
Um,
There's some pretty interesting things going on in town anyway with, housing partnering up with Hudson and stuff like that. So
mhm.
a lot of the administration that we think we won't have to do with it, like see how that program works out and they can do some of the administration.
Mhm.
So anyway, lots of interesting stuff.
Yes, absolutely. And there's plenty of opportunity to combine purposes
Yeah,
in some
yes.
projects.
Yes, especially people who can't take care of their homes or can't afford to take care of their homes.
Yeah.
And that could be a combination.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I've mentioned to Jane Sawyer that, the property that they've owned in the center of town and a building like the store, when they've got a big project to do there, this is entirely appropriate to consider something out of this fund because it's a town icon and a very important historic building in the town. So things like that are important. Obviously, we can't, the town can't use CPA money for everything.
Right.
But in a few cases, it really could make a big difference to a preservation of something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Excuse me.
That's all. I don't have
Yeah,
anything.
that's good. And the other thing is I was just reading the latest missive in regard to the town report. And selectmen have declared that if they don't get the report by the end of January, they're going to make it into an addenda in the town report. So we've got to get a town report done, and I haven't started doing it, but if you want me to, I will write a draft and send it to the two of you, and you can react. And
Didn't we already do that?
no,
I thought, I'm blank. I thought we did that.
no,
That's the budget.
the budget. We did the budget. Yeah.
Okay.
And I might add that since we've hit that one, I'll take it up out of order too. Margaret, we've gotten a quote of something like $2,400 to do the fire alarm connection.
Yeah, I saw.
And it really flabbergasted me because the day that the man was there from Norrell, and he said, well, it's going to be about $640 from us and a little more. And then they were going to have to deal with Simplex, because it's a Simplex panel and they need to create the zone separate. And then the quote came at $2,400.
Yeah.
So I was kind of surprised. However, I think you've seen the message from Margaret that Dave Smith will cover it out of the town buildings expenses, and then if at the end of the fiscal year they're short, they'll go to finance committee on it. And secondly, that the building inspector is holding up the certificate of occupancy for this building for the fire alarm to be done. So that's put pressure on them to decide to get that done that way. Margaret then asked if if that was taken care of in that fashion, could we go with level funding our budget for next year? And the $1,000 that we had put in for that would be dropped, and we'd still have our 600 that we've had in the last couple of years before that. I told her that I would have to bring it to the meeting. I wasn't going to answer the commission, but I thought probably we could do that. I'm delighted that they're obviously that they're doing that. Secondly, I am a little surprised that the fire alarm was not in the plans for the building. Something that I worked up and stuck into it a year or so ago, and got it planned with the fire department and so forth. And so it's kind of a little surprising that the CO is held up, but it's all right with me because it'll get it done sooner and taken care of. So I think that's a good thing.
So is that is that in motion?
I think so, although I should check with Margaret and make sure that's the case. I think it is. And I can inform Margaret that we'll take the level funded budget. June?
I just wanted to make sure I had this right for the minutes. Dave will use money that's in the highway department budget.
In the public buildings budget.
In the public buildings budget, okay. And the building inspector, the building inspector will work on the occupancy permit once the fire alarm has been installed.
Yeah, apparently he told Margaret that it would be held up until the fire alarm thing was in.
Okay.
And I still don't know whether the reason that our day that we scheduled with Dave was canceled because of that, or whether he had something else to do that day and had to do that.
I think I know why he didn't show up.
Oh.
He was sick.
Oh.
He was tested positive for COVID.
Oh.
And they didn't, I guess, I don't know about the timing, but we just didn't get notified that. Yeah. But he's not really sick. I mean.
Yeah.
I hope not.
No, he's, what I heard yesterday was that he really didn't have much in the way of symptoms.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's good.
Yeah.
I got word.
On that note, yeah, go ahead. Was it about Mark Matthew?
We got word over the weekend that Mark Matthew, Mary Ellen's oldest son, has passed away from COVID in California at age 61.
Oh my God.
He was in the hospital for 2 days.
Oh.
So it hits again. Elaine, you had something else?
No, that's what I was going to mention, but I wondered if that's what you were going to.
Yeah, that's striking me, I'll tell you. Mark was a great kid.
Same here.
Great kid.
Yeah. He was our first babysitter.
Oh, and he would have been wonderful.
He was our first one.
He would have been wonderful. And he was in my second class that I had in Berlin School. And he's just been a great guy all through. One of the nicest people you'd ever hope to meet.
Right.
At any rate, We've already done the file on the map, and we've already done the other stuff. I admit that I'm a junkie for inaugurations and national public stuff, and right now, and last night, today, I've been consumed and will be consumed about that.
Kind of a breath of fresh air.
Yes. Yeah, and let's hope it becomes less something we have to be consumed by the way we have been for 4 years. At least the general public affairs of the country, hopefully will feel like they're in better hands. At any rate, I will work on an annual report and submit it to you guys. I'll try to check some of our minutes as well as previous reports and stuff. And mostly we've worked on the plans for moving the collection and the things in the Bullet House and the structural survey that we had done at the Bullet House and so forth. I mean that's the largest part of our activities for the year, just in that little nutshell. But we need to explain what they're about and make sure people understand it. Okay. Elaine prepared a proposal for the last meeting, the protection of the shell, and I wrote some comments afterwards about that. I've walked around the house a couple of times more recently, and as much as I'd love to put storm windows on, before we can put storm windows on, we really need to paint the trim around the windows, because you need a good paint on the wood before you attach storm windows to it. So it may be that we're going to have to wait till we can paint in April or May, because you've got to have a good painted surface to when you attach the storm windows, or else you're sealing them up with the chance that moisture is going to get in around the edges a lot. But I still, other than that, I still think that's the thing to do. Right now, yeah, June, I mean, Elaine.
Yeah, I was just wondering, how much money do we have left in the budget in that account?
In the present budget, $100.
No, she means the mitigation.
No,
funds.
I meant, is there anything left?
It's
The
about,
mitigation money.
it's
is there
about
anything left
45
in that?
grand. Should be about 45 grand.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh, that much? Okay.
Oh, yeah, because it's just, we only had spent 1,000 before the structure survey. So it's
Okay. One of the things I was thinking was, because it's not a lot of money, we're not talking about a lot of money.
No.
Could we do this the way we did with Tim? Send him a thing for a quote and have him do it? Ask, well, I mean, he's already given us a quasi quote, but because he knows the building, it would be a way of getting it done properly, as a temporary thing. He's very practical.
So what would we be asking him to do?
The things necessary to give us a quote, the things necessary to button up the building. I don't know how we'd have to talk with Margaret about that, but just to move it along and get it protected.
So just basically shell protection.
All the things he mentioned in his report.
Right.
Yeah.
But
I mean, we could talk to him about, slapping some paint on, where needed before the, but then that would be a lot, wouldn't it? Because of the storm doors and everything and the door surrounds.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to be more specific about what we'll do with each part. I think we've got to have a more specific specification for the work.
Yeah.
Because that'll, no, I don't know. I think we'll
I
have to have a, I think we'll have to do a request for quotes on it, and that's why I think
Exactly.
we'll have to have more a specific
Yeah,
thing on it.
yeah,
And I would think we could create that from what you wrote and what I wrote.
okay,
I mean, the thing that I immediately would like to see is plastic over the long window and the kitchen and the back door.
Yeah.
Because that, neither one of those is a permanent, I mean, there's work to be done around those, but
right,
the big thing is that to protect and improve things, and that could be done anytime. And in fact, we could, you know, assumably do even do it ourselves. And the front door, I'm very concerned about the continued deterioration around the bottom of that. I think that's, we could even maybe put some plastic over the bottom of that temporarily. But the idea of a good board storm door there is good. And we do have a set of hinges. I've got a couple of doors I took out of the basement at Cora Mays, and there's a set of, we could take one of the strap hinges off of those, the pair of strap hinges off of those to use for the front door thing. In fact, the storm door that we've got on the entrance door is, those hinges were off a gate from up there that I rescued when things were being taken down up there. And so we have already reused some that way. So we do have some hinges, some strap hinges that could be used for that. But I think that's good, and I think it's important to get that protected.
so how do we go about doing this?
June?
I think we should have a motion to itemize how we think the openings should be protected. But I think but I'm happy to turn it over to Tim to execute, because I think that we just really need to move along.
Right.
And if it costs a little more money to get him to do these simple things, then I think we just have to do it that way.
Yeah,
We can't continue to rely on our own abilities to do a lot of things that don't seem very hard, because they don't get done.
yeah, we can be
We're
more,
not physically able to do all these things that we've put in front of us. We need someone who's paid to do it, who's competent.
Elaine?
yeah, I think we can be more particular about, you know, hinges and stuff like that when we come to our finished work. You know, for later, when the building is more stable and ready to.
Yeah. But if we've got the materials available,
Yeah,
Well, if it's appropriate to put those things on because we have them, that's fine.
yeah, I mean, we can have an ongoing discussion with Tim as he's doing it, you know, can he do it this way?
I mean, the front door, we could get a piece of plywood that has scores in it and paint it and put it on there and cover it
Yeah,
for the present. Because it would look all right, and it would be quicker and easier. And I have been a little bit concerned. We know that door frame has to be redone.
right,
And I hate to put a lot of money into a really nice door if
right,
then it might not fit or something.
right.
So there could be a quick answer to that would be cheaper.
Yeah, yep. Okay, so you said you made changes to what I wrote? Have
Well,
we seen?
I wrote a piece that said that described the windows and doors and stuff and what I thought we might do to them. It didn't greatly contradict yours, but it was a little more specific. And I thought that in most cases, what we really should do is put the storm windows on if we, as soon as we can. And then the window frames from the inside can be worked on.
Right. I'm blank at the moment. Did you send that to all of us?
I believe
Yes.
so. Yeah. It was quite a while ago now.
Yeah.
That was quite a while ago. And I can look it up and see and resend it.
That would be good. I may have missed it. I'm surprised. I'm
Yeah.
surprised, but we've got a lot running through our system here.
Wow. I had the same thing already with another thing. So, and maybe I had that and saw it and forgot about it too. That's another thing that can happen. At any rate, I think we'll need to work on a bit more specific proposal, but at the same time, it's the same thing that we've been talking about right along. Is to
Right.
to tighten the shell up, and that we would hope to do it before summer.
Okay, but can we agree that we'll use mitigation money to try to get this done quickly?
Yeah, and we've got to give that proposal to the selectmen for their approval.
Okay, I'll look for that.
Yeah, and I think we'll work offline, and if we need to have a quick meeting later to approve it, we will.
Okay.
But we also need to get it to the selectmen fairly soon, because we told them we would last month.
Okay.
That's good.
Yep.
June?
Can we have a time frame to work off to have these recommendations for the openings that can't have storm windows yet? I mean, I'm reluctant to let this go too long.
Right.
I know that we need to figure out what is practical and submit that information to Tim if we want him to execute it. If there are things that we can do, I'm just reluctant to leave it open for us to be left, to just let things hang and wait for us to be able to do, to make a new door. And I mean, is this something that we want him to do?
I'm taking the implication that that's the case.
Okay, all right.
But we've got to produce specs for a job and check with Margaret as to what we have to do in regard to quotation before we do a hire.
Okay.
Okay,
And
I'll look for your email and I'll try to throw something together and.
Yeah. And we can pass it back and forth a little. I think we're all on the same page.
And I'll keep Margaret in the loop.
Yeah.
Just so they know we're moving forward.
Yeah.
Okay.
Excellent.
Okay, so whatever specifics we can come up with, Elaine will be responsible for putting that information together to submit to Margaret.
Everybody, everybody.
Submit it back to us for us to go through. We need to kind of agree on it
First.
Yeah. And then it goes, and Margaret can be in the circle while we're doing it.
Yeah, that shouldn't take us too long.
Oh, no. It would be my intention that we hopefully can do it within a week.
Okay.
And I've also got to be doing a town report, and we need to do that in the course of the week.
Okay, I'll take care of this then. You can handle that.
Yeah.
And
okay. I don't know what else. I need to Oh, on the move, that's right now held up. We did, June and I were all set for him to come with guys and move stuff, and they didn't come because he was sick. So I don't know now whether we can try again for that date, for a date for that, or whether we, but I'll check with Margaret on it. I guess.
Yeah, I think his 14 days wouldn't be up for a while
Yeah,
because that was the 8th, January 8th.
yeah,
So he'd still have this week that he couldn't, or his people wouldn't be able to help us.
yeah, yeah, okay. Well, unless he decided to let him, but I don't know. That's, we'll find out.
Yeah, okay. So you
And
ask Margaret.
I don't know whether Margaret's going to be friendly to doing a major move day before there's a CO.
Oh, that's right.
And I need, so we'll check with her on
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
See where that is. Meanwhile, it has occurred to me that we could move stuff to the fire station, however. And that would be even a few minutes of that with a few people. Maybe we can get some society volunteers to, if we could move some of the stuff that we want to get to the fire station, both from the curatorial building and from the other place, it would, that would help to move things along too. It won't be quite as easy without the things out of the way.
Yeah.
We'd hope to have those other things moved out before we did that, but even a few things moved would be helpful in that regard.
Yeah. Well, let me know if you want the truck.
Yes, yes. And I think that might be just what we'll do is
Yeah.
that. I've got at the Bullet House, I've got side lights from beside the front door that came out of 7 Carter Street. And Paul McKelk had those and he gave them to us. It's nice Greek Revival woodwork. They're, you know, they're scabby and old, but they could be cleaned up and really used.
Is that what the door was that you found at the?
Yeah,
Yep.
that door was also part of it, but that wasn't part of it. I think he thought that came from there, but it's not the right one. I know it's not. It's too big. The one that was there wasn't that big. June?
Can we get rid of that?
I would, that would be very nice.
I wonder, I don't have the wherewithal to get rid of it, but I'd certainly help someone who could.
If
How
we
big is
can,
it?
It's big.
it's big, but we could probably put it in the truck.
Take it right to the dump.
Yeah, that would be my view. I mean, you can take things that are 3 feet or 4 feet wide to slide in. So yeah, we could put it in the truck and
even on the diagonal too, you know.
Yeah. No, that's fine. It's not a standard size door. It's at least a 3-foot door. And that's why I know it's not the right one for sure, because they took that out, that whole unit out, and they put in a 3-foot door with only one set of side lights.
Did you say goodbye to Joan?
And that's how I know this can't be possibly the right door. And I also remember what it was like, and this isn't at all. This is a later, kind of a Victorian period door. And unfortunately, it also had applied veneer on it, which was all separating and coming off before it arrived at in our hand. So it just isn't something that I see as useful or restorable from our point of view. But I've got the side lights, and those could go into the truck and move over to the fire station. And I've also got, June, that metal cabinet in sections. I've got those sections there, and we could put those in the truck and take them to the fire station.
Okay.
We might need some other help to lug the stuff, but we can do that. So yeah, we'll see if we can't plan a time to do that on an upcoming nice day.
You just have to have permission from the fire chief, or
No,
the buildings?
the thing that I need is to get Dave down there so we can agree on who's using what space. And needless to say, we haven't had him there, and we won't be able to for a bit. But I still think we could get those things over there, and they can be moved around afterwards if need be. He's not using upstairs much of any, and that's where our space is upstairs. I've also got a door from the town hall and the front door of the former Coldwell house that are downstairs that need to go upstairs, but I can't lug them up there alone. So, but I might also get Scott Hawkins and Ross. They came one time and lugged a bunch of stuff for us. And of course, then we've got the whole door collection. You know, the rest of the doors at the Bullet House that we also wanted to move over there. So there's a lot of things we can move and be doing now that would help us other than the collection itself. Okay, that's Bullet House collection. I have to, on the Hearst house, my next step is to talk to the building inspector about it. I haven't talked to him about it, and I need to take some documents to him and discuss that matter with him so that we can clear the deck if there's anything that we need to deal with him on that whole issue. I've got the map that we had made originally to cite it and that kind of stuff. And I don't think I have any documentation from the Board of Appeals at the time. But I know that it was discussed, and Judge Pendergast was then chair of the Board of Appeals. And of course, Emerson was on the Board of Appeals, and they determined that it was an educational purpose, so it was exempt of the zoning bylaw issue. So if Richard can accept that, that's fine, and if not, we'll have to see what else we can do to accomplish that. Because those things have to be done before we can do anything, any of the practical stuff on the ground. And Dave has said he's got various post hole diggers of his own, as well as the one the town has that we can use to get our foundation things in there. So I'm encouraged by that.
I just have a question for June.
Yeah.
Regarding that. Did you get my note with the business card in the envelope?
No.
Okay. I sent you a copy of the business card I have for, I forget her name, but anyway, available funding for items like the Bullard house, the Hearst house. I'm always doing that. The Hearst
Okay.
house, because it had so much original left to it. Okay.
Mhm.
And I don't know how much original is still left where it's been stored outside for so long, but good people to talk to, and they have money to give, okay, to help with something like that, with a project like that.
So it's a grant process or something?
Yes, but it's more of a streamlined thing, I think, more streamlined than what you'd normally have.
It's a private foundation, probably.
Yeah. So
I'll look for it in the mail.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
mail is slow.
I know, and I think, what's today, Wednesday? It'll probably be in today's mail because we went Monday. Duh, it was a holiday, so we just dropped it in the box. But the information's there. I had it, I couldn't find it, and I said I'm making a copy of this when I found it, and sent it off to you. So I figured you were the best person because it is the Historical Society.
Yeah.
I'm not involved in that, so maybe you can work something out. At least
Sure.
start the conversation.
Okay.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm sorry it took so long for me to find it.
No, that's all right. Trying to think if there's something else on the. I haven't seen anything new for demolitions lately. I don't know. I don't think there's much else we had left on our plate except the things we've already discussed. So
Yeah,
we've got that proposal and the annual report that we're going to be working on and back and forth with drafts. And those are the key things we've got lying there right now that we're doing right this instant. Is there other business?
I hope not. I think we've got a lot going on.
Yeah, I think that's kind of enough for three of us. Yeah,
Oh,
yes, June.
I guess we don't need to do it now, but I had suggested that you have a look at that thumb drive, which showed construction images.
Oh, yes, I'm still assembling stuff in regard to the foundation around the back of the house.
So if you want to, maybe next week then, after you,
Yeah.
I don't want to pile things up.
Yeah, but June has a lot of pictures that Marty took when work was being done in the back of the kitchen. And I have the plans that Dave Litchwell made for the foundation and stuff underneath the annex in the back corner. And those were carried out as best they could be under the situation. And Larry Brandt was building inspector and all that was done. And I also will consult with the building inspector about the work that was done by Tommy Dorr last summer, which Richard inspected as Richard was in office and he inspected himself. And I think that we can, I'm hopeful out of all of that, we can kind of reduce the scope of the foundation work at the Bullet House away from the back of the house. The front of the house, we understand, is of consideration. I also have been down there in the cellar a couple of times, and I am concerned. I've got to write something about the water problem because it virtually all comes in from the lawn on the end of the house there, and it all comes in as a result of the when we put the trench in for the water from the town hall, and I don't think there's any significant other water coming in there, but that's the one that does. And it only does it when there's a real cloudburst, a lot of water all at once. The rest of the time you can have a light rainy day. It doesn't do it.
The trench was on the side lawn.
Yes.
Is that part of that hole that's still there?
Yes. Yeah. And when they filled it in, Roger Wheeler put in some nice light clay soil, so it would be easy to dig out the next time. And in the process, what we didn't know was that water would come down from up back and pool in the lawn, and then it would, that stuff, it found its way in that and washed down into the cellar. And each time that we've had a plan for handicapped access, we had changes that would take care of that problem, but we haven't managed to do those. We could revisit the idea of doing the handicapped access at some point and maybe solve it that way, but we also need to do otherwise. That one area, which is now exposed because Tim took the cellar stairs out and there's a ladder there currently in place of it. But the stones that are in the end of the cellar, under the wall of the house, where the two walls used to go out and still do go out 13 feet underground there. But the stones that were put in there to fill that in when they did away with whatever there was for building above it long ago are just quite rubbly and they were never mortared. And it would seem to me that one of the things that could be done is to get into that corner, clean those up a bit, and have somebody mortar it and put smaller stones in the holes that are there and mortar it and get that into some good order, because that's the place that is the worst, and that's where that water comes into. is because there's no, that never was sealed up anyway. I mean, 100 years ago, that was never sealed up. More than 100 years ago. I've also been looking at the bulkhead idea, and as much as I'd love to have one, I don't see where we're going to put it unless we put it right in front of the house. And between where the oil tank is and where we need to have cellar stairs and all that, I don't know. It doesn't seem to be much of a place to do it. The cellar is still only under those 3 front rooms, you know, the front rooms in the hall, and it's not very, it just isn't a good place, I don't think.
How old is the oil tank that's down there?
Oh, that's a new one that we put in relatively recent years. I don't know, it may be 10 years ago now. But we put in that new oil tank since the town has owned it. And it's got a concrete base and so forth under it that was all created at that time to protect us from future oil spills.
Is there any possibility of moving it in the space that it's in to make room for a bulkhead?
Nothing is impossible. On the other hand, it would be difficult, and it would involve, you know, making a different pad for it and so forth.
Because in the long run, it might be worthwhile, you know, to just get that.
Yeah,
I mean, really,
it would be a good thing to have. I certainly agree.
Yeah.
But it's a complicated thing to try to do and not have it awfully obvious and more out in the public eye than we'd like it to be.
Yeah.
I've been entertaining the idea of putting it in that area where those old stone walls are, and use that instead of having the stairs inside. But that's going to also mess up the old ancient stepstone and stuff for that door that is there, which while we're not using it, it's historically important that it remain. And so I finally made up my mind that wasn't a great idea. I was hoping we could kind of duck under those stones, but it wouldn't really work. It would be too little overhead clearance to walk through there. Anyway, I mean, that's not one we have to decide today anyway, but
Right.
I am thinking about it because I thought it was a great idea.
Yeah.
At any rate.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Anything else to be dealt with today? June?
Is there anything that I can do in the meantime, because I can't really do much except review the annual report or review your and Elaine's information about the
Buttoning up the building.
information about the openings,
the
shell
project.
Anything that you want me to do in the meantime?
Well, I was just trying to think whether there's things we can do in the collection room to sort out stuff to go to the fire station or not.
Well, I was thinking something I could do on my own so that you are free, to, you're not encumbered by that, but you and Elaine can work on the shell items and
I'm going to suggest some historical society stuff. We'll talk about it.
Okay. All right. That's fine.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else to do at this meeting? If not, I'll ask is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
I second.
All those in favor, Barry, aye.
June, I.
Elaine, aye.
The meeting is adjourned at 11 a.m.
Okay.